Boise State opened the 2018 college football season with a 56-20 victory over Troy on Saturday. Senior quarterback Brett Rypien completed 20 of 28 passes for 305 yards and 4 first-half touchdowns. Read a recap of the Idaho Statesman's live coverage from Alabama below. The Boise State and Troy football teams open the season against each other Saturday afternoon. You can follow the action here, with scoring updates and news and notes updated throughout the game. You also can track the game on Twitter by following at Dave Southorn, at Chad Kripe and at Rochelle Roberts. Boise State, ranked no. 22, has won 9 of its past 10 teams, and finished 11-3 last year. Troy has won 7 straight and finished 11-2 last year. Boise State beat Troy 24-13 in last year's season opener in Boise. The game is airing on ESPN EWS with a 4 p.m. kickoff. That's channel 207 on DirecTV, channel 135 on Cable One and channel 142 on Dish Network. Boise State debuted its new turnover throne, a chair in the defense's bench area that will be occupied by any defender who forces a turnover. The first occupant was linebacker Tony Lashley, who recorded an interception in the second quarter. The Broncos are calling their defense the Kings of Chaos. Boise State's turnover throne. Dave Southorn. D. Southorn at IdahoStatesman.com. Scoring summary: fourth quarter BSU. Chase scored 44 run, Hayden Hogarth kicked 504. Key plays: Boise State's Curtis Weaver sacked Troy QB Caleb Barker on a 4th down, and Cord made his BSU debut. After a 4-yard run by freshman Andrew Van Buren, Cord went off tackle to the right and found daylight, sprinting to the end zone. Drive, 2 plays, 48 yards, 0:51. Boise State 56, Troy 20. BSU, Tyler Horton 11, fumble return, Hayden Hogarth kick 8:39. Key plays: Hogarth had missed a field goal, but on Troy's first play of the drive, the Durant Miles sacked QB Caleb Barker, forcing a fumble. Horton picked it up and scored on his second fumble return of the second half. Boise State 49, Troy 20. Troy, DeAndre Douglas 33 pass from Caleb Barker, Barker pass failed, 11:24. Key plays: Barker and Douglas connected on a 20-yard pass on the drive's first play, then on 4th and 3, Barker rolled out and found Douglas well covered, but he still came down with the TD. Drive, 5 plays, 60 yards, 2:40. Boise State 42, Troy 20. Third quarter. Troy, B.J. Smith 1 run, Tyler Sumter kicked 5:10. Key plays: QB Caleb Barker had perhaps his best drive, getting a 13-yard run on a 3rd and 6 to get into Boise State territory, and was 3 for 3 passing on the drive for 46 yards. Drive, 11 plays, 77 yards, 5:46. Boise State 42, Troy 14. BSU, Tyler Horton 55, fumble return, Hayden Hogarth kicked 10:56. Key plays: safety Kiko Anawahine lowered his head and popped the ball out of RBBJ Smith's hands, right to Horton, who scored his 3rd career defensive TD. Boise State 42, Troy 7. Second quarter. BSU, Sean Modster 54 pass form, Brett Rypien, Hayden Hogarth kicked 2:13. Key plays: Rypien found C.T. Thomas over the middle for 8 yards on a 3rd and 3 to get the drive's first down. The Broncos faced a 3rd and 12, and Troy took a timeout. Rypien then hit Modster on a post route for the long TD. Drive, 6 plays, 67, 2:04. Boise State 35, Troy 7. BSU, Achillian Butler 3 pass from Brett Rypien, Hayden Hogarth kicked 7:10. Key plays: on the first play of the drive, Rypien hit WR Sean Modster for 46 yards down the middle of the field. Rypien found WRAJ Richardson for 16 yards on a 3rd and 2 to get inside the Troy 10. Drive, 7 plays, 79 yards, 3:45. Boise State 28, Troy 7. BSU, Alexander Madison 7 run, Hayden Hogarth kicked 12:35. Key plays, senior LB Tony Lashley intercepted Caleb Barker's screen pass when CB Tyler Horton broke it up, and the batted ball landed in Lashley's hands. QB Brett Rypien had an 8-yard run, and then found WRCT Thomas for 7 yards on 3rd and 2. Madison scored the next play. Drive, 5 plays, 37 yards, 126. Boise State 21, Troy 7 first quarter BSU, CT Thomas 53 pass from Brett Rypien, Hayden Hogarth kick 0-36. Key plays, the Broncos stuffed Troy QB Sawyer Smith on a 4th and 1, getting the ball back. On a 3rd and 10, Rypien sat back and hit a streaking Thomas down the middle for the sophomore's first career TD. Drive, 4 plays, 63 yards, 158. Boise State 14, Troy 7 Troy, Habir Daughtry Fry 23 run, Tyler Sumter kick, 553. Key plays, Boise State had held the Trojans to a 3-and-out, but on the punt cornerback Tyler Horton blocked Troy's Jawan McDowell into returner Avery Williams' catch radius. After Horton and McDowell bumped him, the punt hit Williams and Troy recovered at the Troy 48. Drive, 5 plays, 52 yards, 228. Boise State 7, Troy 7 BSU, Sean Modster 20 pass from Brett Rypien, Hayden Hogarth kick 10-53. Key plays, after being sacked the first play of the game, Rypien completed all 4 pass attempts on the drive. He hit John Hightower for a first down on a 3rd and 1 to keep the drive alive to the Troy 35, and found Modster on a beautiful toss 3 plays later. Drive, 6 plays, 53 yards, 226. Boise State 7, Troy 0 news. He was 7 for 8 for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. His first TD pass was a 20-yard strike to Sean Modster, with the ball dropping into the corner of the end zone over Modster's shoulder to beat the defender. Rypien's second was a dart to a streaking CT Thomas for a 53-yard score. Rypien was 9 for 11 for 161 yards and 2 more touchdowns in the second quarter. That included a 3-yard TD pass to Killian Butler and a 54-yarder to Modster. Rypien's halftime stats, 16 for 19 for 276 yards and 4 touchdowns, with a 275.7 rating. Last year, he didn't throw a touchdown pass until October. Modster answers WR questions. Wide receiver was one of the biggest question marks for the Broncos coming into the season. Senior Sean Modster had an emphatic answer. He made 6 catches for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. 2 players out. Boise State junior defensive tackle Emmanuel Fesili and senior linebacker Blake Whitlock did not make the trip. Fesili had 5 tackles last season, playing in 13 games, 1 start. Whitlock missed last season with an injury and redshirted. He had 36 tackles in 13 games in 2016, 5 starts. 10 true freshmen on hand. Boise State traveled 10 true freshmen for Saturday's game, 2 from the Southeast, quarterback Riley Smith and tight end Tyneil Hopper from Florida and Georgia, respectively. The other 8 that made the trip were receivers Khalil Shakir and Billy Bowens, running back Andrew Van Buren, center Kekanayako Aholomalia Gonzalez, stud end Dimitri Washington, defensive tackle Scale Igiahan, linebacker Brandon Hawkins and cornerback Tarek Libov. Quick hits sophomore cornerback Avery Williams, who had an 81-yard punt return last season against Troy, carried the hammer. Senior defensive end Dorrance Miles was the honorary captain, joining full-time captains Tyler Horton, Jabril Frazier and Brett Rypien. Boise State won the coin toss and deferred. Previous coverage. It's time for Brett Rypien to write his legacy. How Boise State and Troy match up, and players to watch. Game prediction. Jabril Frazier savors captaincy at end of challenging career. Boise State hires expert to help with mental health. Uniform police will be out in force in college football. 5 pressing questions for Broncos as season begins. Can Boise State live up to the hype? Why Octavius Evans is no. 1-5 most intriguing Broncos in 2018. Broncos among favorites for major bowl berth. Boise State depth chart. Boise State's full schedule.